game. That tastes like coconut. Metal. Oh, wow, yeah! I knew it.
Hey there, quirky people. Today we're going to talk about the appliance that made Iron Man possible. Tony Stark's Arc Reactor is among the greatest of his creations. Some could argue that it is actually his greatest creation, period. It not only powered Tony's Iron Man suits, but it also kept the shrapnel away from his heart. Therefore, Tony's Arc Reactor actually became his life support. Without it, he would have died much sooner. Obviously, Howard Stark created the first prototype of the Arc Reactor in Stark Industries headquarters. It later became a source of limitless energy that was self-sustaining. But could it be possible that Howard's Arc Reactor is a creation inspired by the Tesseract? Howard was able to find the Tesseract while he was looking for Steve Rogers. Over the years, he studied the cube during his time at S.H.I.E.L.D. It is obvious that he was able to come up with some valuable research material. And he would have definitely applied all that know-how gained from the Tesseract to his Arc Reactor. After all, he was trying to come up with a clean energy source that could counter nuclear energy. Since the Tesseract possessed unlimited power, his study of the cube must have influenced the design of the Arc Reactor. But there's one thing that all of us need to keep in mind. The Tesseract originally came from Asgard. It encased the Space Stone in it. Red Skull's description suggested that it was the Asgardians who actually designed the cube. A raw Infinity Stone could prove to be extremely volatile. We've always witnessed that a specific device has been used to extract power from an Infinity Stone. Loki used the scepter to efficiently use the Mind Stone. Ronan added the Power Stone to his hammer. The Time Stone was encased in and was used through the Eye of Agamotto. And obviously, specific gauntlets were designed to use all the Infinity Stones. So just like that, the Tesseract was designed by the Asgardians to efficiently use the raw power of the Space Stone. So technically, Tony's power source is also based on Asgardian tech.
Surprise!
Without the Tesseract, neither the Arc Reactor nor Tony's Iron Man suits would have been created.
Shit!
Now that's a nice analogy, don't you think?
We're good.
The Tesseract has been responsible for many things in the MCU, and the Arc Reactor could have been one of them. Howard designed his Arc Reactor to extract energy from the highly volatile palladium core, but he still thought that his version of the reactor was imperfect, as he was bound by the limited technology of his time.
I'm limited by the technology of my time, but one day you'll figure this out.
He believed that his son Tony will be able to perfect it by discovering the element that will sustain the Arc Reactor. It was this gigantic prototype that Tony created a miniaturized version of.
Honestly, it's impossible.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave!
And the fact that he did it in a cave with a box of scraps shows his intellectual prowess. Through the mini Arc Reactor, Tony actually became Iron Man. And it was still imperfect, as the palladium isotopes were unstable and were actually killing Tony. So Tony discovered, or rather rediscovered, a new element which became a replacement for the palladium core.
The proposed element should serve as a viable replacement for palladium.
And after that, he was just unstoppable. He kept on improving his suits. He continued to create new ones until he reached the peak by mixing the Arc Reactor with nanotechnology. But having seen so many upgrades over time, have you ever stopped to wonder the original purpose of the prototype Arc Reactor?
What?
Why did Howard Stark build it? Obviously, the straight answer for this would be to end the need of non-renewable energy sources, and substitute the risk of nuclear energy with endless sustainable energy. But according to the Iron Man 2 tie-in comic, Public Identity, there was a bigger goal in Howard Stark's mind. He wanted to end the Cold War and bring world peace. He was fearful that the Cold War would ultimately lead to a nuclear holocaust. So he began working on an alternate power source that the entire world could reap the benefits of. That's why he hired scientists all across the world, and this project was called Project Unity. Anton Vanko was another one of the scientists on the project. But he got greedy and sold the plans to an outside party. That's why Howard Stark had him deported back to Russia. Due to the risk of his other plans being leaked, Stark and the US government brought the project to an end. Howard's prototype became a private property of Stark Industries, and he focused on his work with S.H.I.E.L.D. Later, when Tony perfected the Arc Reactor, he ultimately used it to save the entire world, just as Howard originally wanted. First, it was because of the Arc Reactor that Tony could save New York from a nuclear missile. Then it was because of the Arc Reactor that Tony was ultimately able to pull off the snap that saved the entire universe. So yes, The Arc Reactor could be named as the greatest creation of the entire MCU, and we presume that it's also related to the Tesseract. These intricate connections are really why the MCU stands out, while the other shared universes don't. Now this is where we're going to conclude the story of Tony's Arc Reactor. Hit the subscribe button and leave us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to check out some more fun videos on our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!